It's getting close to draft day. As a matter of fact, June 6th is the draft, and for the first time, it'll be held here at the Moncton Coliseum. So we're inviting all of you to join us here at the Coliseum. There's no charge for admission, and if you've never been involved in a Quebec Major Junior Hockey League draft, then you've missed one of the great treats of junior hockey, because you get to see the future Wildcats, the young men who will make this team in the years to come, and of course, we hope go on to other things in professional hockey. So come to the Coliseum on June the 6th and come sit in the stands, watch the action, and I can tell you that you'll see some very smiling, happy faces. You'll hear roars of applause because they bring their families. It's very much a big day in their lives. And we will provide you coverage of the day here through this channel, and by linking on to the Moncton Wildcats website, you'll be able to follow the action after you've been here. We'll be uploading all day long, and we'll have interviews with Peter Niven, the chief scout for the Moncton Wildcats. We'll have Danny Flynn, the director of hockey operations and the head coach, with us. We'll have Mr. Robert Irving with us as well. But most importantly, we'll have the players. The new Moncton Wildcats will be joining us on this site on draft day. So don't miss any of it. Come see it at the Coliseum, and then go home, turn on the computer, and watch everything we'll provide for you. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Draft day again, June 6th. Admission is free. Place, Moncton Coliseum. See you there. Draft day is June the 6th, and joining me is the head coach and director of hockey operations for the Moncton Wildcats, Danny Flynn. Let's talk first of all about preparations for something like this.
Well, it's an ongoing process, basically from 2 or 3 days after last year's draft and culminating with this year's draft here in Moncton. And there's so much spring hockey now. There's so much summer hockey. There's always something to go see, it seems. So it's a full year's work for the scouting staff and the hockey staff here to get ready for the draft.
Now, in addition to the scouts that you have out working the trenches, you and Peter Niven, I know, have done a lot of tournaments. You were out to the TELUS Cup. You've been looking at people all over the place. Yeah,
scouting's about information and comparisons, and if you see as many games as you can best compare player to player or get a true read on that player's potential. So we try, and our staff worked very hard, and you watch a lot of games during the regular season, but really try and focus in on the playoffs when you want to see players bring their best and see who rises to the occasion. So we try and follow the playoffs and the championships as closely as we can and try and get as good a read on the players as possible.
Are there specific things that you look for?
I think you look for talent, number one, and you have to have enough skill to play in the league, but we try and spend a lot of time focusing on the grit level of the player, and I always find that the two things that coaches complain about at any level is guys that have trouble thinking the game and guys that don't play hard enough. So you look for hockey sense, you look for battle level, you look for enough skill to play in the league, and then you try. Some guys are easy to find and they jump right out at you. Sometimes you have to go back 5 or 6 times to truly appreciate a player and what they bring.
Last year at Christmas time, you made a decision to really start to rebuild the Wildcats and look to the future. You had a lot of first-round picks last year. You made some good ones, had an outstanding season. You've got 9 in the first 5 rounds this year. Who are they? Why are they important to you?
Yeah, I think in junior hockey, I strongly believe that the draft is your lifeline, and it's becoming the same case in the National Hockey League as well with the new NHL and the cap. We've got, I think, 10 picks or 9 picks in the first 5 rounds. We have 2 first rounders, number 5 overall and number 16, and we have a pick in the second at this point, 2 3s, 3 4s, and a 5. So that's when the top 5 rounds is when you can draft the underage players, and that's where the bulk of your top players come from, those first 5 rounds. So compared to previous years where we were a draft pick poor franchise, the last couple of years we've had a good surplus of picks and really enabled our scouts to get up to bat and take a few swings.
How do you keep that going, that high-level draft pick?
Well, you try and hold on to your picks as best you can. But I'm a big believer if you're making a deal, if you can get someone to give up a draft pick and you're prepared to wait down the road, that can pay dividends. And 2 years ago, as you said earlier, we decided to move some older guys and look to the future. And we acquired a couple good young players like a David Savard. But we also started to assemble some picks and try and put them in the bank, so to speak. So it's been good for our franchise that last year we had a real good and a real deep draft. We're hoping to have more of the same and really start to build a good foundation for many years to come here.
How specific can you be about who you'll go after?
Well, we're picking number 5, and we'll have our players rated 1 to 5, and that decision will be made, and that order of decision will be made, well in advance, and we'll just see how those first 5 picks played out. At 16, we're picking 16. We've got probably 3 or 4 guys we think will be there in that slot. Again, we'll wait until our turn comes up, and we'll make the choice that we think best fits our franchise. So scouting staffs work very hard. Peter puts together a real detailed list with probably his top 100 players rated. And we cross them out, so to speak, as the draft unfolds. There's still a little bit of decision made as position by position, but we've got the players rated and slotted in at this point in time, and now we sit back and see how it unfolds.
And there's also another element in the draft, and that is the possibility of trades or deals being made. I'm sure you're open in that regard as well.
Well, I think we're like everybody. You're always trying to improve your team, and we made a decision on the floor last year where Miranda came to us in the middle of the first round and offered us, I think it was pick 13 for 2 second-round picks, and we opted to take that. And they got 2 very good young players in the second round, but we were able to draft Louis Domingue in the first, and really worried that he wouldn't get by the bottom part of the first round and be there for us in the second. So again, we're open to suggestions. There's a possibility that we could move up in the draft. There's a possibility we could trade down. But right now we're holding at pick number 5, and we think we'll get a very good player in that slot.
And it's very interesting because sometimes you'll pick players, as you did last year with Tremblay and Noseworthy, and you use them this season when you needed to make a move.
Yeah, we were able to, as we said, had a good deep draft, and we had some good young players that due to our numbers we didn't think would get an opportunity to play with the Wildcats down the road. We were able to move them to other teams that had openings to give the players a chance to be Major A players, and we were able to recoup our draft picks and put those picks back in the bank and have a chance to select another player this year.
Will you employ the same strategy this year?
Well, I think you're always trying to, if you have depth. In previous years, as I said, because we were short picks, we were trying to patch our team up a little bit. Last year was probably the first year that, because of our deep draft, that we had a surplus of players, a surplus of talent. We were able to move some players to some other teams and help those teams and help those players, but also help us assemble more picks for down the road.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see. We're just a few days away from it. Is it as exciting for you as it is for the players on the floor finally?
Oh, I think for the players it's a once in a lifetime for most of them. So it's a special type of excitement. But for us, it's a culmination of a year of hard work. But we also know that aside from Memorial Cup Sunday, that draft day Saturday is probably the second most important day in the junior hockey calendar, and this is where championships start from, and this is where you start to build your team. And as I said, it's an important day for not only the Wildcats, but for every franchise in this league.
Okay, Danny Flynn is the head coach and the director of hockey operations for the Moncton Wildcats. Again, draft day, June 6th at the Moncton Coliseum.